Hey, welcome back to Another Man's Customs. What have I been doing the last few weeks? Well, I'm about to show you. Stay tuned. What in the world has he got going on? So there it is. That's a 1968 Javelin, same as an AMX front clip. If you look over here, you can see that we cut it off at the rockers. I took the roof off. It's over there against the wall. And then we got the complete frame rail. What's nice about this one is it's pretty much rust-free. You do see a little bit of surface rust, but that's nothing. The rails are nice. The floor is nice, at least as far as I need it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it at the factory welded seam here, and same place on the gremlin. So the first thing you're probably wondering is, are they the same width? Well, I went online and then I measured myself to confirm that the online information was correct. The width of the gremlin is 70.6 inches, and either an AMX or a Javelin is 71.9 inches. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to first get this front Javelin clip all ready. Then I'm going to cut off the clip on the gremlin and get rid of it, get it outside. There's the roof. So the roof, I'm probably going to use up to probably right before that the rain gutter drip is, where that rain gutter is. I'll use that and cut it somewhere, I would say about here as I go across to that side. So again, there's the whole roof. And now it's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to make some lap seams on it, for lack of a better word. Where I'm going to cut the gremlin is the same place I'm going to cut the Javelin AMX clip. Right there at that factory seam you see there, all the way through there. And then I'm going to cut along the floorboard. So a better look, if you look at the right rocker where the floor meets the sill plate, I'm going to cut there, and back on the Javelin, you can see that rocker there. They're the same on both sides. I'm going to incorporate as much of that factory rocker panel as I can, because number one, it's rust-free. Number two, it's shaped like an AMX. So when it meets this area of the gremlin, from let's say that seam back, I do have a brand new AMX rocker panel, replacement panel, that I will probably use a fourth of. So I got more than enough for both sides to continue the look of that rocker to the wheelhouse. So that's the plan. I've got a tram bar here to measure everything. There's going to be a lot of notes, a lot of documentation. I noted where I cut here and on that roof. So again, here's a look at the doghouse, the engine bay, if you will, of that Javelin AMX, and it's clean. Basically, it's a sanded down, epoxy prime it, and paint it, whatever body color I decide to use. Now, before you fact checkers get all over me, the width of an 68 AMX is 71.6. The width of a Javelin is 71.9 for whatever reason. So seeing as I'm using the Javelin clip, which what's nice is I have Javelin fenders. What else do I have? I have Javelin doors. There's one door. Try not to get you dizzy. There's the other door. So, and there's the fenders hanging up on the wall over there. So I have everything ready once this clip is on to fit the doors. I got new hinges. Fit the doors, fit the fender. I'm probably gonna go with a fiberglass hood, only because I want the built-in AMC scoop that comes with it. That's what the original AMX GT had. So that is the plan. So you're gonna see some videos every now and then of what I'm doing to this thing, and we'll try to keep you posted as best we can. And in a week or two, week and a half probably, we'll post out another video on YouTube. We'll do a short on Facebook to let you know it's out there, and we'll continue on and get some progress. Well, as you can see, I'm taking my tram bar and I'm doing a cross measurement from the last bolt hole of the fender to the front one. So there's that side. And there's this side. So each side is identical, so it's symmetrical. So that's good news. That tells me this front end was never hit. The lower tie bar is bent, probably from somebody wrapping a chain around it, but I'm going to cut it off, put it in my vise, straighten it, reuse it. So that's something that we can do while we're waiting for other things to be ready to put together. All right, I've got earplugs, earmuffs, safety glasses, and a grinder. Let's hog this baby out. Okay, if you look there at that rail, you can see where the factory spot welds are. All the way through here, and then you follow them up through here, and then down this side. So I'm drilling them out to get this piece of steel off and expose the frame rail here. We'd expose the frame rail here and the transmission mount bracket here. And it's the same thing back on the other side. All right, I've got an assortment of drill bits here, a couple of different sizes. They do have the guide point, so they'll go right in that 1/8" hole I just drilled, and we'll see if these can't cut through. Okay, here's how far we got today. It's the first day working on the Javelin clip. Got the floor out. Got the frame rails exposed. We cut it out at the factory seam on the tunnel, which is the same thing we'll do to that Gremlin body. That Gremlin's got a new floor in it, so I'm going to utilize that floor. So things are going pretty good considering we just started. What I'm going to do now is stand this thing on its nose, and then we're going to finish doing some touch-up grinding where I cut everything off. Then start measuring the Gremlin and decide how to support it and where to cut it. And today I made a template. I'm going to turn around and show it to you. So this template is a cardboard cutout of the rocker panel off the AMX. So here's the AMX that I had been mentioning that we'd look at down the road. I did this car the same way in this same garage on a rotisserie. I got it done 2 years ago. It took me just over 3.5 years. It was totally stripped down. I had to get a motor for it. It has a 4-speed, which I had rebuilt. It has a posi rear end. And I kind of wanted to go with the 1968 theme, I guess. So this was an original 390 4-speed AMX from the factory. And like I said, the motor's long gone, so I ended up putting in a 343 that's fuel injected. Interior was surprisingly nice on it. I put vinyl stripes on it last summer, kind of dressed it up a little bit. And here's the other side. I'm sure you're all familiar with AMXs. There's the interior. Now you see all those dryer sheets laying on the floor there. That's to keep the mice out, because I'm still keeping it in storage across the street. But I brought it over today to get back to the topic. So I brought that AMX over today to make a template of the rocker panel. And to my surprise, if you look here, this is where the back of the door ends, okay? So if you look down here, you can see I've got 2 door posts from a different Javelin, and I'm going to replace these door posts with those door posts down there. That way I know it's shutting into an AMX post and everything will line up right. So what's really nice is you can see I made a template, same size as the rocker. So here's the end of the wheelhouse. There's the door gap, and I'm within a little bit less than 1/4 inch, so I can move that door jamb I'm putting in anywhere I want. And if you look here, this is where the fender will end. If the AMX had fender on this body, this is where the fender gap is. So it's pretty close. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make the cut here and along, let's see if I can get in here and show it to you, the sill plate. So right in here. And I'm leaving this floor in because it's eerily similar to the AMX floor, or the Javelin floor that I cut off that white piece. You could see the same seam there over the tunnel. So anyway, I'm going to cut just ahead of that seam so I have enough room to go forward or backwards. And I'm going to lay this floor in next to that piece there. You can see the rocker sill panels are still on it. So I got to measure that out too. When I get to that point, I'll do another edit on that, and we'll put all these together and make an update for you guys. Well, good morning. Today is Thursday, April 16th, so I thought I'd do an update on what's going on with the AMX GT We've made quite a bit of progress this week. So here's where we're at. I cut apart the Gremlin body, the part I'm going to use, because we need the Gremlin rear shell. That's what makes it a AMX GT. And if any of you took the time to look up AMX GT, you'll see that this rear quarter panel design was not originally for the Gremlin. It was designed for the AMX GT, and then they canned the whole project. The Gremlin that they designed, or I'm calling it a Gremlin, the rear quarter they designed ended up on the Hornet, and that became the Gremlin. So a little bit of history of where the Gremlin really came from. So started out life as an AMX GT, and that's why I needed a Gremlin to put forth my attempt to make an AMX GT. So here we are. What did we do so far? This week, we cut it up. We took off the rockers. As I mentioned to you, I kept the floor because the floor is all brand new. There was no sense in cutting that out. So if you look down the side where I cut each rocker, and then you look at the donor clip. So there's the donor clip. That's a 68 Javelin or a 68 AMX, whatever you want to call it. And let's go this way. If you look at the donor clip from the back, there's the rockers. So this part, I'm going to point with my foot, this part of the rocker right here, and now we're going to walk over to the other half. That part that I just pointed at is going to be welded to this area. Okay, so I have one more thing to do to this body today, and that's cut off most of that frame rail, this one right here. When I cut that off, then everything's going to be flat underneath, and then these frame rails that are on the AMX clip are going to weld to the floor. Now, I'm not going to weld anything till I put the doors on. So this clip right here is going to be bolted to that rear clip. The doors are going to be test fitted. I have two doors, one over there and one behind the car. So I have both doors. I have both door jambs. And I have two, it'd be a right and a left AMX, I'm going to turn the camera, quarter panel replacements. So when I did my AMX, well, the AMX is here, so let's just show you that. When I did my AMX, I put new quarter panels in. So those quarters went up to about here and all the way over and down the gap. So by obtaining those AMX quarter panel patch panels, if you will, that's how I'm going to get all of this to fit in place. So the plan is, once the clip is bolted in, I'll locate the door jambs, put the doors on and get them to shut and open nice based on this gap right here. And then I will remove most of this, probably from about here down of the jamb. I'll put that new patch panel in, which wraps into the original jamb line. And that's how I'm going to get the Gremlin quarter panel to fit to the AMX door jamb, if that makes any sense. So you can see I've got a little bit of work to do down here. I mean, it clamps up pretty good there where the door gasket goes. But I don't know what I'm gonna do here yet till I get everything bolted up. Once I get the doors finished, by finished I mean fitted and shutting and opening, I might have to modify this area somehow. Okay, so here's where we're going to leave it for this video. I don't know, I kind of like looking at that blue and silver AMX. Looks pretty good on tape anyway. But, you know, we'll keep going here on the Gremlin, or should I say AMX GT. I'd like to thank you for watching Another Man's Customs. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. We'll see you in a week or two.